This is the City of Wapaka's City Plan Commission meeting.
Let's go ahead and get started. This is actually a public hearing that we're holding before the regular City Planning Commission meeting, and it has to do with a conditional use permit. So I'll call this meeting to order. In attendance, we have Commissioners Fair, Behrens, Mayor Brian Smith, Ivan Wayne, right?
You got it.
Angela Lesage, Eric Olson, and then we have staff, Jarrett Raku,
Yes, you got it.
and City Administrator Aaron Jensen. So we don't need a motion to approve or anything here. We just need to go right into the public hearing. So this public hearing has to do with a conditional use permit for Vanity Properties LLC, which is, the address is 106 West Union Street. Most of us know it as 122 South Main Street, Blue Angel. So, Jeff, you want to just tell us what this conditional use is for?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. So as you point out, 106 Union Street is a separate address of a host structure everyone knows is 122 South Main Street. The property owner is proposing a transition within the internal structure, shifting around some of the uses. It is also proposing a cocktail lounge on the part of the structure that is associated with the 106 Union Street address. As per the zoning ordinance, as per the zoning ordinance, bars, cocktail lounges, pubs, and taverns is a conditional use in the B2 district. The applicant has submitted a conditional use permit, a complete application for conditional use permit. My recommendations appear at the bottom of page 2. I'm sure we'll get to those during the Planning Commission meeting.
All right. Thank you, Jeff, for that explanation. Does anybody have any questions on what this request is? Okay, at this time, then, we would take testimony in favor of. If there's anybody that would like to give testimony in favor of this conditional use permit, please step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, and limit your time at the podium to 3 minutes or less. Any testimony in favor of? Any testimony in favor of? Hearing none, any testimony in opposition? Any testimony in opposition? All right, I'll declare this hearing closed at 5:21 p.m. and we'll go right into our City Planning Commission meeting. Let me get the agenda up. Aaron's got it on the screen also. Welcome everybody to our regular scheduled City Planning Commission meeting. Today is Wednesday, October 6th, 2021, and it's 5:22 p.m. In attendance. Again, I'll just go through this real quick. Fair, Barron, Smith, Wayne, Lesage, Olson are the commissioners that are here. Alan Keelan is absent. And then we have staff, City Administrator Johnson, and our new Economic Community Development Director, Jarrett Raku. You got to change your name. You got a last name Smith. It's hard to know. And then we also have staff, Jeff Sanders is with us too, virtually. You have an agenda in front of you. There's no additions to that, so we just need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Fair, second by Olson, that we approve the agenda as printed. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried unanimously. All right, we have some minutes. We had a public hearing on September 1st, 2021, and then we also had a regular meeting on September 1st, 2021. Didn't we have a special meeting too that didn't get on here?
We did. Yeah, that's not in here.
So
we
let's
can
put that
approve
on the
those
next month's
Yep.
meeting then, or whenever we have another meeting. Okay, so we take a motion so that we can place these on file. So I would look for a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Wayne, second by Lesage, that we approve of the minutes of the condition, or the public hearing meeting on September 1st, and then the regular meeting on September 1st. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Now we're back to what we had in the public hearing. This is an action item. Conditional use permit for Vanity Properties LLC, which is 106 West Union Street and AKA 122 South Main Street. So Jeff, you want to just, again, just go through this and maybe elaborate a little bit more where you need to, and then tell us, as Pat always asks us, so I'm going to get on top of this. Is this something that's approved at the planning commission level, or does it have to be recommended to council?
I'll answer that second question first. Plan Commission recommends to council conditional use permits are approved by the Common Council. With respect to the use in question is a conditional use in the B2 district. The proposed use is a cocktail lounge. The proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The property in question is designated downtown use on the City of Wapaka comp plan. The use includes commercial uses, which this would comply with. As far as the zoning ordinance goes, again, conditional use permit is required for bars, cocktail lounges, pubs, and taverns. Were this structure, the one, I guess, interesting or perhaps unique element to this application is this. Were it not for the 106 Union Street, I'm not confident that the city could approve this. Because at present, the B2 district all principal uses within a single structure.
Hey, Jeff,
but since there is a second.
Jeff, can I just stop you for a second? You're
Yes,
breaking
sir.
up a little bit on us. If there's something you can do to help us with that a little bit on your end.
Well, I could log back in. That's about the best I could offer.
Well, that's better right there. So I don't know what you did, but okay.
All right.
Sorry about
I'll
that.
try to speak clearer. What we have is one structure with two addresses. Were it not for that situation, I'm not sure that this conditional use could be approved, because the B2 district as it exists right now is not a conventional mixed use district that allows for multiple principal uses within a given structure. However, again, given that this structure has two addresses, 122 South Main Street and 106 Union Street, and the proposed cocktail lounge is associated with the 106 Union Street, I think that provides an opportunity to approve it. It is consistent with the comp plan. We just haven't got around to updating the zoning ordinance to be consistent with the comp plan yet. Once we do that, presumably B2 district, at least the downtown portion of the B2 district, will become a true mixed-use district. So with that in mind, the application was compliant with the zoning requirements. The recommendations I have for the Plan Commission to consider is that, as always, the CUP must be operated and maintained compliant with the requirements of the site plan. My understanding, and Aaron and Jared can probably confirm, is that the owners are in the process of completing, if they haven't already completed, the application for site plan review. And no other uses other than the use in question is allowable at 106 Union Street. The entrance to the structure must be maintained free from accumulation of trash and debris. Any substantive change in the use of the structure, specifically 106 Union Street, or the addition of any new structures to it would require an amendment to the conditional use permit. And the CUP is valid as long as the use maintains compliance with the zoning ordinance.
All right.
Sorry, like I broke up a bit at the end there.
Yeah, just a little bit, but we got it. Thank you, Jeff.
You're
Anybody have
welcome.
any questions of Jeff?
I
Or
do,
Stan?
Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jeff, is there any, you mentioned the change in the ordinance, or are we in the process of changing that so that this is a proper usage, or do we have to do that prior to change over here?
Good question, Mr. Fair. It's proper right now, again, because it has two addresses. So the 106 Union Street would be considered a separate unit from 122 South Main Street. So perfectly compliant as it is. Were it not for that, however, I don't know that we could approve this. To your direct question, I know we've been discussing we're calling it, I think, the fourth round of zoning amendments. I assume that's pending, but I would defer to on that.
Yeah, we've worked through, I'll go ahead and answer that. What he's referring to is the fourth round of zoning amendments. That is not in process right now.
Would this come under that when it gets to the fourth round?
The idea of clarifying mixed uses in the downtown district, it would, yes.
But we don't need to do that first. So.
We're working through a number of zoning amendments still. They're just not technically what we're terming the fourth round amendments yet.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody else have any questions? I know Jamie and Mike, you're both here. Do you have any comments? Okay, all right. To me, it's pretty clear. We heard at previous meetings what their intent was, and Jeff explained it very well. So if you're okay with this and with the recommendations, I would recommend that we recommend this to council. How many times can I say recommend in one sentence? Anybody would like to make that motion?
Yeah, I'll motion.
Second.
Motion by Wayne, second by Olson, that we approve of the conditional use permit for this property. Help me get back to the right address here. 106 West Union Street for Vanity Properties LLC. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. All right, good luck again.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's go down to reports then. We have the internal site plan review report, the August and September 2021 permit reports, the code enforcement status reports, and then the development updates. Are you guys teaming up here, or Aaron, are you still on the?
Yeah, we can team up. I'll let Jared take the internal site plan review reports. Again, these are site plans that don't come to Plan Commission. A lot of them are change of use type reports, but Jared, I'll let you go ahead and take that over.
Yeah, so first one is 205 North Main. So I believe this was just a change in use. It did come through that and I guess the background about the property, they had a garage for the residential units above off of the alleyway behind of the structure. It was deteriorating. It was in very poor condition. Honestly, a safety hazard. So they were looking to replace that exact same square foot or in the exact same footprint, just rebuild it so it's structurally sound and can be used by the residents. So did just keep that internal as it was just same footprint, just essentially making the structure safe again. And then the other one, we did have a pending one at this time when I had submitted this for 700 Industrial Drive, and that is a change of use for mobility for vets. Currently working with them through that. And then there have been some other pending ones that have come up, but I guess still working through those. And hopefully on the next report, I can just report them to you.
All right, thanks, Jared.
Yeah, happy to take any questions if you have any.
Is this when I'm supposed to tell a joke?
I think you're supposed to. Yeah, sure. If you're good with me going with the next report.
So, Mayor, if I can just ask, as long as Jared said any questions, we just voted to recommend to council on the lounge. The ones that you are doing in-house, do you have to then but do you have to also recommend those to council?
No.
No, yeah, they are just approved in-house at the moment. So,
and why is that different from? I mean, why do we have to send it to council, but you don't?
So first of all, the site plan reviews are never sent on to council. So when site plan reviews come to you guys, that's the final approval for site plan review.
Right.
These are the ones that we talked about. It's a little confusing. 90+% of the site plan reviews that are done internal are what we call change of use site plan reviews. They could also be called just general zoning reviews.
So they're not conditional use.
They're not conditional.
Yeah, so the one we just approved, or you guys recommended to council, that was a conditional use. So conditional use would go to council, and then there's other ones such as the zoning change, which I don't know if that goes to council or not, but that's kind of in that same grouping of special zoning ones.
So you don't deal with conditional use in-house?
Nope. Conditional use has to come to you guys for sure, and I think that's actually more of a state statute.
Okay.
The conditional use has to be looked at by you, recommended, and to common council for final approval or denial.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I was just thinking of what Pat was talking about too in the site plan review. This is something that Jeff actually introduced quite a few months ago, where we wanted to speed up how quick they can get the work done there. And so if there are not issues and there's not any big changes to it,
Yeah.
then they were authorized to approve those. If there's issues or if there's changes, then they obviously would have to come to city planning for that. So, Go ahead.
All right, thank you. So you guys can see in your packet the building permits that have been issued. I'll go over that first. As you scroll through the pages and pages of building permits that have been issued, anything from air conditioners, plumbing, electrical, your typical stuff, HVAC. There are some homes. There's some larger permits, and one that's not on here, I believe, is the permit issued for Presto, just because it got done after this packet was put together. Just a little update on permits and where we're at from a revenue standpoint. We budgeted $75,000 for revenue in building permits this year. Last I checked, which was I think a week and a half ago, our to-date revenue mark was at $285,000. So we'll be adjusting that. Not that we're going to budget $200,000 or $300,000 for 2022, but we will be upping it because we've seen around that $300,000 range for the last couple of years when we talk about our 2022 revenues. But nothing out of the ordinary, a lot of the same type of stuff in this report. So, any questions on building permits? Okay. Next report is the code enforcement status report. Nothing really out of the ordinary there, except probably one that Plan Commission has heard about, and I know Council has heard about it. There was a flag with an expletive in the city. That was probably one worth mentioning. And a letter was sent. We did talk to our attorneys. We were able to address that through our public nuisance ordinance, and it has since been taken down.
You might want to drive up on Fulton Street, West Fulton Street.
Similar situation.
But I think the flag might have found a new place. Yeah. At least, I didn't drive by there today. It looked like it was the same flag, but in a different place.
My day was going so well.
So, when I drive by, I'll let you know today. Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks.
I could have waited, I guess.
No, that's all right. And everything else is standard zoning ordinance type things, nuisance, debris, junk, all of those. Mayor, I actually have one to send you that was sent to me earlier this week that I forgot to forward on. But, and then from a development, well, first, any questions on that? If not, from a development standpoint, just a couple notes. We sent out the River North neighborhood concept as an RFP. We are starting to get some nibbles back this week. The due date is the end of next week. So that's encouraging, and I would expect some proposals to come in. Look forward to sharing those with you when we get them. Presto, we mentioned that. You guys, that was our special meeting last time. We had the ribbon cutting shortly after. Just a reminder, that's a 50,000 square foot addition to that building with that rail spur and the shed with 15 extra jobs being added. So that's a great project, and was one of those projects that added to that revenue from the building permit standpoint. That's for certain. A lot of work for the building inspectors on that, specifically Jane in commercial building. Another piece of good news, we talked about this at council last night, we tentatively are awarded the EDA grant, planning grant, which is to build an economic development resiliency plan. It's in the amount of $100,000. $72,000 is budgeted for the plan itself and working with professionals on that, and then approximately $28,000 actually can help pay for staff costs, which Andrew Dane, who you guys all know, has been helping us with a couple specific projects. That's going to help offset almost his entire amount of payment for 2022. So just another great thing from Greg, our grant writer, and we will look to formally accept that at the next council meeting. Just want to give a little update on, we've been talking, Jared and I have been talking with Agape. They're looking at potentially doing a renovation of the old Crossroads Care facility for some of their nonprofit mission. There's a lot of things to work through there. Right now we're on zoning and trying to figure out how to make that work if we can. So that conversation you'll probably hear coming forward. Also, want to talk about a little bit about actually the meeting I had today, Mayor, with the East Central Regional Plan Commission. Something that keeps coming up, this was the Economic Development Committee, and something that keeps coming up is, and probably everyone knows, is the workforce shortage and the labor shortage. And it's something that seems to be a theme in all of our meetings, but there's not, what is the effort that's happening and what action steps are being taken to do something about it. And we talked about that a little bit in East Central today, and I think there will be more conversations coming up. I'm getting sent about a 51-page document that I'll share with Plan Commission that speaks to this in general in the state of Wisconsin. But one interesting piece is that through COVID, our unemployment numbers were very high. Those unemployment numbers have come back down to normal levels. So our workforce is employed right now, yet we still see these large shortages. So it's not something that we expect to just go back to normal. So those are kind of the big things from a development standpoint, and at least that I can share in the meeting.
Aaron, I have one question on the River North project. Is that single family or multifamily or both?
Yep.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that. It is. It's both. We have in the conceptual plan a lot of single family units that are called twindos, which is like what you would think of a duplex style.
Side by side.
Yep. And then also row house, townhouse, and anything up to large multifamily. Then there's also some commercial parcels in there that could support a neighborhood type development.
Yeah, we're leaving it, I mean, we have I think you guys have seen that, but we're also leaving it wide open depending on what's going to happen. We don't want to end up with something that doesn't make sense, as the developers come through. You want to touch on, first of all, if these young people would all take after Justin Barron's and have 12 kids, our workforce would get back up there again. So
Yeah.
that would help.
Just another valuable asset to the city.
You are unbelievable.
Check that box.
Check that out.
You're still not getting that 1%.
Getting two, right?
Do you want to touch base just a little bit on that ARPA fund too and plans? I mean, I know it's real
Sure.
preliminary.
Our conversations around the housing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, we are planning to have a conversation at council about our utilization of ARPA funding. And ARPA funding is what we receive from the federal government in the amount of just over $600,000 for our municipality. And one thing that the mayor and I have talked about quite a bit is a housing rehabilitation type program and how we may be able to use that money to inject into our current housing stock, which when you look at our census data, the city of Waupaca, not to anyone's surprise, is much older and has a much older housing stock than the average in the state of Wisconsin and the average in the country. So we see that as an opportunity to have a real impact there. And Andrew Dane, who we've talked about earlier in this meeting, has developed kind of a draft template that we'll be talking more about in our development review team tomorrow. So we hope to bring more details on that forward in the near future. Mayor has had a large role. Well, it was his idea. So I'll let you comment on it anymore.
Well, is that a little bit like what we did with Main Street with some of the rehabbing funds available for people to rehab?
Yeah.
Concept wise.
Yeah, it's exactly that. We haven't decided, and we're going to need commissioners' help and council's help to figure this out, but we haven't decided what that will entail. I mean, do we use it for them to be able to put new roofs on, or do we just look at more like aesthetic type things? We're not sure, but, and it might be all of that depending on what it is. Do we just pick certain blocks in the community to start with, to really get a big bang for your dollar, as you can speak? So, people can drive down that street and see where our funds have gone for that. The key here, though, is that we got those ARPA funds, and in those, in my mind, there's many uses that you can use them for, but this is a good way to give back to the community. And through this whole COVID thing, this would be huge for the community to see us give back to them. So, yeah.
The only other thing I'll mention is that this is also something that 2 to 3 years ago, when we finished the strategic plan, was mentioned. I mean, investing in our current housing stock is one of our action items. So ARPA provides a great opportunity to do that with money that we didn't necessarily plan to have 2 years ago when we set out with this plan.
It is exciting. I'm fighting some of the department heads a little bit, so we got to hurry up, spend it before they decide what to do. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I think everybody's on the same page now. So.
Yeah, no, I think we're like Mayor said. There's a lot of good examples of what could be done, and we just have to figure out what will have the most impact, most positive impact.
So you'll see it back here, because I think this is, planning, obviously. So we actually value your input, so hopefully come up with some good plans.
I think that's all I have, Mayor.
All right. Anybody else have anything for the good of the meeting? All right. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Fair, that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. We're adjourned at 5:47 PM.